Hi guys, it's X. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm bringing you the most basic of basics, how to start counting macros for beginners. I'm also going to give you a little bit of tips and tricks and mistakes that I made when I first started counting macros. So to begin, what are macros? Basically, it is fat, carbohydrates, and protein. Broken down, very simple. Almost, I want to say a year and a half ago, a coworker, like him and I were talking, we were both really into fitness, and I've always been one to like be into working out, lifting weights, playing sports. Like that's just been me my whole life. However, I was a junk food addict, still kind of am, still kind of going through that. And I really wanted to count macros because as I got older, things just changed. I was never the person that was like super skinny and can eat whatever they want. It's not true. But I was the person that worked out all the time, but was able to eat a pint of ice cream or a bag of Oreos in one sitting and not gain weight. And once I hit 30, actually more like 25, that just like disappeared. It was very hard for me to maintain my weight, very hard for me to lose weight, and it mentally was a struggle for me. So I wanted to get into counting macros because I just felt like no matter how hard I worked out, I just wasn't getting back to my norm. And I'm still not at my norm, but changing my diet has seriously just changed my life for the better. So I want to teach you, one, I think it's really important to learn how to read a food label, and two, teaching you my mistakes with macros. So come along with me and hope this video is helpful for you. So like I said, over a year ago, I was talking to my coworker and he gave me this simple website called the TDEE Calculator. That is TDEE Calculator. You can Google it. Basically, will tell you your macros for whether you're lifting and bulking, or you're maintaining, or you're cutting and you're trying to lose weight. I'm gonna go over it with you. I already have it pre-popped up on my iPad. So I'll show you how to get your basic metabolic rate and then explain it to you. But one thing that I will stress is that even though I had this information, I thought it was gonna be life-changing because I was like, cool, I'm gonna know how many macros like daily am I supposed to eat. Well, until I learned what that meant, it didn't do me no good to know eat like this amount of protein, this amount of fat, this amount of carbs, because even though I knew how much, I didn't know what was in food. I never really understood that concept. So because of that, I failed, and I failed over and over again. And focusing on calories and just calories in and calories out was just so much more easier to me. And earlier I mentioned you can't out-train a bad diet. At least for me, that is true. I have worked out my whole life. My body is just used to a certain level of activity. And I felt like no matter what I was eating, how many calories, I just felt like I wasn't losing any weight or anything. So then when I actually took the time to start learning what are high protein foods, what are carbohydrates, then is when I started actually realizing and seeing results. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over this with you. I apologize that it is so small. I didn't want to do a screen on screen, but whatever. So I'm a female, I'm 34 years old. I weigh about 145 on a good day. I'm 5'2", and then I have moderate exercise. So calculate, and this is my stats. So my maintenance calories a day is 2,032, 14 calories per week. Here it gives you what your basic metabolic rate would be if you had a sedentary lifestyle, light exercise, moderate exercise, heavy exercise. So basically, and it gives you all the different formulas, what your BMI is. My BMI right now is about 26.5, so I am considered overweight for my height and weight. It does show you what formulas they used, and then boom, here are your macros. So this is the maintenance tab, the cutting tab, and the bulking tab. So let's go to cutting because I'm trying to lose weight. They give you 3 options. So moderate carb, low carb, and high carb diet. To be honest, I eat a lot of carbs. So low carb diet is just not something that I feel is gonna work for me personally. High carbohydrates, I feel like that was a little too much. So I personally just went with moderate carb. So My macros on here is a little bit different than what I do on a daily basis because back when I was trying to cut, my weight was a little bit heavier when I did it. So I have not changed or updated any of my stuff. But right now it's saying that I would pick a moderate carb if I was choosing between these 3 plans. And that would put me at 115 grams of protein, 60 grams of fat, and 134 grams of carbohydrates. And that would reflect me eating 1,532 calories a day, which is very, very low. If we go to bulking, then they suggest 252 calories, 2,532 calories, and then obviously the macros have changed, and then maintenance eat about 2,032 calories, which would be a normal day-to-day basis, and then those macros have changed. So that is a very easy website to use. I really like that website. I use it often and it taught me a lot, but it didn't actually teach me what types of foods to eat. So I'm gonna go over some with you. All right, the easiest thing that I did for myself to learn about protein versus fats and carbs was to go on Pinterest, type in high protein foods, and then just learn from there. So protein is any meat, whether it's pork, beef, chicken, there's shrimp. Now, all those things, argumentatively, people will say like some are better than others, and turkey, So turkey is probably, it has tryptophan, but it is lean. I use Jenny-O's like 99% lean fat. I love steak, love red meat. That is one of my favorite foods. I'm sorry for the vegans and vegetarians in this, if you're watching my video, because I tried to be vegan, vegetarian. I just love meat too much. I love animals, but I haven't been at that point yet. So I'm sorry this video is probably not gonna be for you because a lot of my examples are gonna be from animal products. So turkey and red meat and chicken are probably the most like protein types of foods that I eat on a daily basis. Shrimp once in a while I will eat. And then, so I said that people will comment on what types, so like foods, whether they're argumentatively good for you or not. Chicken is probably the best and most safest, but you have the risk of getting salmonella poisoning. So just be careful when cooking chicken and make sure you cook it all the way through. Turkey I love, but some people complain about the tryptophan, that it'll make you sleepy, so that is that. And then red beef has a lot of fat and it is probably not the best for your arteries, so just be careful when eating a lot of red meat. And then there's pork, and then shrimp. So shrimp, I was told, has a ton of cholesterol, but I love shellfish, so those are some just meats that will give you that high protein, and it has the highest amount of protein per serving. So for like 4 ounces of a majority of those types of meats is about 24 grams of protein per serving. Other types of food that I have found to have a good amount of protein is yogurt, cottage cheese, mozzarella cheese. However, those are caloric. Tofu has like 7 grams per, I don't know how many ounces. I haven't eaten tofu in a while. Tofu is a really good source of protein as well. So if you're vegan, that'll help with you. Fats are going to be in the realm of like avocado, oils, some nuts, and then carbohydrates could be like your pastas, your legumes, your fruits, veggies. So if you just go to Pinterest and start Googling what different types of food, like what is in what, then you kind of get a baseline of what to eat on a daily basis. Like sweet potatoes are a really good carb, quinoa, couscous, like those things are great, and they have protein in them as well. I'm trying not to make this video too long because I don't want to bore you. But so now that I've given you how to find your macros, types of macros, and suggestions on how you can Pinterest, Google, and find what types of foods you like to eat and what will help you reach your counting macro goals, let me tell you about some pitfalls and things that I experienced that I realized I was messing up on. One, not realizing that just because it has a certain amount of protein doesn't mean like it doesn't have a certain amount of carbs. So one thing that I started paying attention to was like the protein to carb ratio. So I switched from like white rice or jasmine rice to quinoa, thinking like, oh, I'm gonna get more protein, not realizing that it still has like a lot of carbs in it. And then there were days where I realized I wasn't eating fruit because I was like, oh, that has a lot of carbs, like I really want to focus on my protein. And then I wasn't eating fruit, and I was like, well, that's kind of stupid, it's healthy for me, why would I not eat the fruit? So I really started paying attention to food labels, learning how to read them, learning the servings. Like last week when I made the video on, you know, my breakfast sandwich here, I thought like the bread, one slice of bread had 10 grams of protein. It wasn't. It was actually one slice of bread has 5 grams of protein, 110 calories. So like here I thought I was getting 10 grams of protein per slice, and it wasn't. It costs me double the amount of calories, so that would put me at 220 calories for 10 grams of protein. So like, is that something that's really worth it? So I would just suggest don't get too into your head or like not wanting to eat something just because of the calorie count or just because it doesn't have as much protein. Like you still want to eat healthy, you still want to eat whole foods. So I realized that I was so focused on like protein that I wasn't eating certain foods just because I was like, oh, well, that doesn't have a lot of protein, it's more carbohydrates, it's gonna just rise my carbohydrates up. And then I was like, that's stupid, I'm not gonna eat a banana because of that, like that's dumb. So it is trial and error. I'm still learning. I'm not the type of person that can kind of look at something and put together a meal and be like, okay, this has this and this, and this is the healthy balance for the day. I'm not there yet. I'm still learning. This is why the title of the video is Counting Macros for Beginners. But I just wanted to share my experience, my story, and how I got into it. So I hope this video was educational enough for you. I will link down the website below for you to find your maintenance calories, your cutting and bulking, and so that you can fill it out for yourself. And I will try and make also a list of foods that I personally eat on a daily basis down there to help you, whether they're protein, fats, carbs. And just don't forget that every type of food is gonna have a different level of protein, carbs, and fat in it. So just because it's like meat, it's not just gonna have protein. There are gonna be fats in there. So that was also one thing that I like didn't understand. Like I love red meat, and I'm about to cook some. However, as much protein as I'm getting a lot of fat with it too, and probably not the good fat that you want, like from avocados. So thank you guys so much for watching my video. I hope you guys learned something today, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.